Welcome back to Unpopular Opinion. I'm your host, Gran Jefe, and as promised, Matthew Lyle, Big Blue Breakdown, RTL Sports, Crosstalk Network. Welcome again. Like I said, we're going to be doing this thing every Wednesday where we have Matthew Lyle on the show, good friend of mine, great sports mind. So welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you for doing the show again.
It's not a problem. I appreciate you guys for having me on, taking time out of your very great show and busy day to allow me to come in here and spew some shenanigans. So I appreciate it, guys.
Anytime.
Hey, man. Anytime we talk sports, it's always a good time. So
loving it.
I want to appreciate you. So me and my co-host here, we did something yesterday just with the Saturday game. So we're gonna do it with you for the Saturday and the Sunday games. And that's take the underdog. First matchup, the Colts and the Chiefs. The Colts is a 5.5-point underdog. What must the Colts do? Like, if we don't do anything else, we have to do this in order to win. What is that?
Keep doing what you do. If you go back the last two Colts games, I know the Colts are 10-1 in their last 11. You go to the Titans game, they got up 14-0. They scored with ease. They was playing how they wanted to play, dink and dunk, to kill time, but still through the air. And then they got up 14-0, and next thing you know, the Titans get a pick six. The Titans get a field goal. And they ended up pulling it out there at the end with a couple of last-minute touchdowns. Same thing happened versus the Texans. They got up 21-0. It was their world. They was doing whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. You thought here came the Texans, some questionable coaching decisions. It didn't even really become a close game. But I'm telling you, Patrick Mahomes, as a Patriots fan, I witnessed it firsthand. We had Patrick Mahomes done in the first half at Foxborough. Every other quarterback in the league is done. But here he came, balled out. It took a last-second field goal to beat him. I think it was 43-40.
Yep.
The Colts have to do what they do, which is score early and often, but keep doing it. Because if you get up 21-0 at halftime, and then you go into hibernation mode or cruise control, whatever you want to call what they've done the last two games, you will lose that game 35-21. Unless Patrick Mahomes somehow is taken out of the game and they have to go with their backup, who I don't even know who that is, no lead is safe. So, Andrew Luck, they can do this. I don't know if the weather's supposed to be in Kansas City. They can do this. The way he can throw to anybody, but they have to keep doing it. They can't get a 2-touchdown lead, a 3-touchdown lead, and then try to turn around and hand the ball off to Mac. That's not how their offense is built. That's not what their defense is meant to do. It will not work versus Kansas City.
And I agree. This is the game I'm probably the most excited for, this Colts versus Chiefs game. Only because I feel this game is going to be, a high-scoring affair. And it's gonna have to be because if you look at the Kansas City Chiefs defense, I don't believe they can stop a Colts offense. And get pressure on Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck can sit in that pocket comfortably and throw the ball wherever he wants. He can pick and choose his spots. And I want to see the play from Mahomes. We get it, the rookie nerves, the young quarterback nerves going into the playoffs. Right now, Mahomes is one of the youngest quarterbacks we have left in there. And I just really want to see what comes from it. If he can beat the veteran, Luck. If he can do that and seize the moment, man, it would be amazing for Kansas City. And I think that franchise, that just shows what kind of player you have in Mahomes. Because if we look at it, most of the young quarterbacks, they're sitting at home. Lamar Jackson, Mitch Trubisky, Deshaun Watson, they're at home right now. So if Mahomes can seize this moment and beat these Colts.
And for that Chief fan base, that's 1-10 in the playoffs since '94. 0-5 at home during that stretch.
Yeah,
that's for them to get over this hump is really. Hold on, I'm sorry. I just I seen something on my phone that got me. It choked me up here, and that was Bears just hired Freddie Kitchens as the new head coach. I was lost for words when I seen it. I figured this move would happen. We'll get to it right now, Matthew. I'm gonna just ask you about that real quick before you get to your question.
Oh yeah.
How do you like that move, Freddie Kitchens' new Bears coach?
The head coach or
yes, head coach
over Nagy.
It says Browns hired interim offensive coordinator Freddie Kitchens.
Browns. You said Bears.
Bears. I was like, what?
What happened to
I'm
Matt
sorry.
Nagy?
Me, Billy. I was
Right,
almost went off.
I know. I was like the Bears are the worst. I was like the Bears are the worst franchise ever. Billy, you know how I feel about the Cardinals getting rid of their losing
I was just about to
coach.
say. That they took your Cardinals bid, huh?
Yeah,
My bad. I'm sorry. Browns hire Freddie Kitchens as the new head coach. That's why I couldn't finish my statement when it popped up. I was like, "Is this real?" So yes, Browns. My bad. The Cleveland Browns have hired Freddie Kitchens as the head coach. Like the move or no?
Well, I have to. I'm going to take your tone and your.
This was reported by Chris Mortensen.
Yeah, it popped. I just got it popped up here. I thought you were talking about the Bears defensive end leaving and taking over the Broncos, or the defense coordinator taking over the Broncos job. No, this job.
I my bad. I misread.
I'm going to go I'm going to go the same route you went on RTF this morning about Kingsbury. This is clearly a copycat decision, not in the same sense that they're hoping he's McVay, but they're putting all the eggs in this offense. They're backing Baker Mayfield. They say 27 touchdowns and however many interceptions, 4 or 5 interceptions. That's our future. That's how we're going to hold up the Lombardi. And they are putting all their eggs in that basket, all the chips in the table, and they don't care about any other position. They just want him to develop and be the next Russell Wilson, the next Drew Brees, the next Brett Favre, all these greats or Super Bowl winners. They want that out of him. They're saying we can replace these receivers. We can build that line. We can make a defense that can play within the new rules. We just need you, Baker Mayfield, to be good. And I think we've talked about it a lot, Billy. The rules that they've put in place are going to manufacture 3,000 and 4,000 yard passers. The good quarterbacks have to come to 5,000 yards and, dare I say, 6,000 yard passing. That's coming. And they need to make sure that Baker is the new great. Because in 3 years, 4,500 yards isn't going to be considered elite anymore, if it even is now.
Too many guys are hitting.
Right. They need to make sure that he's a part of that 5K club, and they're going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. So I'm going to go the same way. I mean, if it works, great. I think that was the right call. If Baker's not that kid, if the other places, if he spends all his time on Baker and loses attention to some of his other head coaching duties, and Baker can't put up 8 touchdowns a game. If everything else falls apart, it's bad. But if the defense and everything can go, and then you develop Baker to get to the Drew Brees status, not even like just in a small window, great hire.
I agree. What you think about that, OG? And then right after you can go ahead and ask your question.
For me, it's like everyone deserves a chance, right? I've always said this.
You just said it right now.
Yeah,
you just said it right now.
So give them a chance, man. I like the Browns. I like what they're doing right now. They're building that offense up. They're building, that offensive mind up, and they're getting, I believe, the right guys in to, fill that role and to make Baker Mayfield into something special. I expect you guys to have a better season than you guys did last year. And, especially with Baker Mayfield starting, he's a playmaker, man. And then, with the new head coach, I expect nothing but great things from you guys going forward.
I sure hope you guys are right. I don't know how to feel yet. So that's why I haven't commented yet. I don't know. I'm processing. I knew this would happen. I knew Freddie. It was either going to be Freddie Kitchens or Greg Williams, one of the two. I knew that they couldn't let one of those or both of those guys walk by hiring another coach who wasn't going to keep them around. And once Hugh Jackson was fired and Greg Williams took over and Freddie Kitchens took over the play calling duties for Todd Haley, and that offense immediately started to gel. I knew there was no way being in the Cleveland fan groups and there's no way that these fans wanted to let either one of those guys walk, but definitely not both of them, for the price of getting somebody new in there and hoping that they can gel with Baker.
Right.
So the only thing I will say, and I follow this, I think there's a lot of lessons in sports that can be followed in life. Look at businesses. what businesses or companies are the most successful? Yes, just like football, it's a copycat world. When something works, I'm going to keep doing it. But the great businesses don't say, hey, Billy, you made a good, your RCA, your Sony, you made a good music device. I'm Apple. I'm going to make the same exact thing. No, I make the same exact thing, but I tweak it to what I'm great at.
Mm-hmm.
And I always bring up the Microsoft Zune. People, they tried to be Apple. Microsoft, that's not your lane. Stay in your lane. Make a music device that fits your thing. It'd be like if Apple came out with a video game system. It's not your lane.
It's not their lane.
I'm all for all these programs and these organizations and these NFL teams saying, "Hey, Sean McVay, that worked. Let me steal it." But make sure it fits who you are. Make sure. I know everybody's going young offensive coach, but what about going young defensive coach, letting him worry about the defense, and then hiring somebody and paying them head coach money and being just your quarterback watcher?
That's what I wanted. And that's why I don't know how I want to feel, because I wanted a defensive-minded coach, because the head coach don't necessarily have to be able to gel with Baker. The guy that needs to gel with Baker is the guy that's going to be calling the plays. And that's why I kind of want a defense, because right now in Cleveland, that defense is good, but I think we can be better. I wanted defensive-minded coach, but I'm not upset because we got Freddie Kitchens, because I seen what he can do firsthand as being a fan and watching that team very, very closely. So I'm not upset about it. I just wish we would have went another way and hired him as the offensive coordinator.
At the end of the day, certain words matter. If you're a player, the word starter matters, even though you can have a big impact and not be a starter. In the world of coaching, the word head coach matters, even though, and I think you're going to see almost changing it, somebody who's getting with the future, and I'm not saying this because I'm a fan, look what the Patriots have done. I don't know if the Patriots are playing Josh McDaniel, but whatever they're doing, it's the right thing to keep him happy in a coordinator's position. And that's what we got to bust through this wall. If you're an offensive guru, maybe we just pay you a boatload of money and you don't have the head coach title, but man, you're all over this offense. Because I think Chip Kelly could have been a good point. Chip Kelly could have been a good head coach if you didn't have to worry about defense, special teams, preparing, conditioning. If he could have just focused on offense but had the same head coach title, he would have been great. But when you had to do other things, when you have to do other duties as assigned, that's where you fail. And we talked about that this morning. That's where I'm concerned. That's why I'm like, okay, you can try to be Sean McVay, but make sure you're looking at the whole picture. You're not just looking at 50 points a game.
Oh, yeah.
I think Baker's seal of endorsement, too, when they asked him about the play calling duties and different, and he said, well, we just got somebody that we trust calling the plays now. I think that was also that stamp of improvement. Dorsey, he couldn't overlook that. So, I mean, good hire for the Browns. As a Browns fan, I am happy. I'm not going into the season like I am as a Florida State fan, saying, man, we still got Taggart. But I'm not as overjoyed either. But Freddie Kitchens is going to do big things, and I'm going to be proud to be a Browns fan. So, yeah, good job. Good job,
I got
Browns.
a question.
What's up?
Which team do you believe has the easiest path to the Super Bowl right now?
Of all of them?
Of all of the teams.
So we got the Colts and the Chiefs, the Cowboys and the Rams, Chargers, Patriots, Eagles, Saints, and then,
If I'm just going off as is, I'm going to go the Saints because they look great in the Dome. They get to play there the entire coast, the entire run. And then if they get to the Super Bowl, you're literally playing in a division opponent's stadium. The fans are used to that trip to Atlanta. So they're definitely going to be hyped up if you get to a Super Bowl. If we're looking if we're looking deeper, if you want a deeper answer besides this team's ranked higher, I'm going to play favoritism here, and I'm going to go New England because if you look at it, you get the Chargers, who Phillip Rivers is playing really nice, but it's at home. Phillip Rivers has also had his own playoff struggles. You pretty much owned the Colts. And the Chiefs, as you both alluded to, have an atrocious playoff record. And then once you get to the Super Bowl, can you ever bet against Bill Belichick?
No,
especially,
don't do it.
Especially,
Don't do it.
And ironically, especially if the Saints make it. I know the Saints, in my opinion, in every way, the Saints are better than the Patriots. But if you look at the Super Bowl, the Patriots have won. If you look at the Patriots Super Bowls, the ones they've won, people's like, man, I don't think they can beat the greatest show on turf. I don't think they can beat Andy Reid. I don't think they can beat this Falcons offense. I don't know if they can score on this Seahawks defense. They win those. The ones they lose is when, Tom Brady's better than that quarterback. Tom Brady's better than Eli. Tom Brady's better than Nick Foles. And that's when they lose. So if it's New England and New Orleans, everybody's talking about, Breeze is going to carve that defense up. Brady can't keep up with Breeze anymore. And be careful saying those words. That's when Bill's at his best. So if you're looking for like a deep answer and looking at paper and not just number 1 versus number 6, I'm going to go New England. But obviously, everything else would say Vegas would tell you New Orleans because of location.
Yeah,
right.
Agreed. So I'm going to stick on that same trend. Cowboys Rams. The Rams are a 7-point favorite. Same question I asked OG yesterday. What has to happen for the Cowboys to beat the Rams in LA?
Once again, I hate to keep saying that, but the Cowboys have the least of all the teams remaining that have flaws. Every team remaining has flaws, but every other team remaining's flaws are required. Most teams remaining have bad defenses, and your defense has to come on the field. Cowboys' flaw is Dak Prescott, and obviously you're going to have to pass. But if you run the ball really well and play some solid defense, just solid defense, don't have to shut out, and you don't make Dak have to win the game, you're going to win that game. I hate to say it. As a Cowboys hater, I hate to say it. But if you can keep Dak's passes, stay ahead of the chains. If Dak has to throw, make it be 3rd and 4, not 3rd and 12. I don't really have faith in the Rams down the stretch here. I'm getting really nervous. And we both talked about this, Billy, how much I hate Dallas, but make Dak not have to do near as much. Because when Dak doesn't have to do as much, he does more.
Exactly. And that's what I said yesterday. And then, the Rams, what the Cowboys can do on offense, their best strength is give 21 the ball and watch him run. And the Los Angeles Rams don't necessarily stop the run that well. And if they don't stop the run that well on Saturday, and Zeke can start implementing some play action passes, going to Michael Gallup and going to Amari Cooper, it can be a long night for those two cornerbacks that they paid all that money to in the offseason just to be let down all year. That has been one of the most underrated pass defense groups I've ever seen. Go ahead, you had something to say?
Yeah, so I think the key for the Cowboys, if they want to win this game, is to shut that defensive line down. Aaron Donald and Sue. If you shut them down and you're able to block them very well, I believe Prescott, he will be able to complete those 3rd and 4 passes and get the Cowboys over this hump we call the Rams. Because let's face it, their DBs aren't that good this year.
No.
Their DBs aren't that great. Their safeties are okay, but as far as the cornerbacks, no. I watched, them get burned many a times this year on the easiest of routes to guard, I believe.
Michael Thomas ate him up. He had Marcus Peters yelling at Sean Payton.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I do believe that would be the key, shutting that defensive line down if the Cowboys really want to win this game.
And to go along those lines, the reason I never really bought in at the Rams coming into the season is I've always said that Sean McVay's the reason Goff and those receivers are so good. I think he can do it with any receiver, and you've kind of seen that with Reynolds hopping in there. But the defense has some glorious names. Ndamukong Suh, Donald, they picked up Fowler, they got the 2 corners. But what's after that? And you can't tell me any of their backups. So if Zeke gets going, and to your point, if they get to blocking that D-line, Donald gets a little tired. What do you take him out, put the backup in? He's going to get ran all over. Do you keep Donald in, and then you can't get to Dak? So I'm just concerned of the depth on that D. If the Cowboys get momentum, they get the run game going, they get the play action going, they get the bootleg going. I hate the Cowboys, but
it could be a long night.
I'm concerned of their ability to meet at the quarterback, and if you have to go into that bench. or Dominican Sue gets frustrated and starts to lose that cool.
That's what I was going to say, because he's going to lose his cool. When he started to get frustrated, that's when the 15-yard penalties come. That's when the hands to the face and that's, the late hits is going to come. Because it's frustrating as a defender when you're doing everything possible and you still can't get there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're losing. It's going to be tough. Just Rams, please do us all a favor.
And I said it too. The Rams are basically one injury away. I said it on prior shows. They're basically one injury away or one player away from that being, the playoff team we think they're going to be. That's just the way it is.
Rams need to do us all a favor and hit Robert Woods and Brandon Cook on about 2 50-yard passes in the first quarter. You get the Cowboys down 14-3. They can't rely on Zeke anymore. You're going to see panic like you saw in Bill O'Brien. In the NFL, the way these passes work, you start out thinking to yourself, we saw it twice this weekend, Bill O'Brien and Nick Saban. You've seen these offenses put up 14 points quick, even though you could easily come back from 14 points by running the ball and kicking field goals, you start to panic. You say, well, if they scored 14 that quick, they can score 20 that quick. So now you have to be desperate. Now you're slinging the ball around. And let me tell you, you get Dak slinging the ball around, the Rams are going to win 40-7. I'm just calling that right now.
That's the truth.
So
that's the truth.
And Jason Garrett, look, I'm not a fan of him anyway, but he's not exactly Bill Belichick. He's not exactly Sean Payton. You get him down 14-0, he might start going for it on fourth down at his own 50, which means you set the Ram up a great position. Then the Rams scored 20.
Yep.
Now you're going for it on your own 40. They get the ball back.
Kind of situation that we saw in the national championship game where one bad call it leads to a few more bad calls.
They call it,
and before you know it, you're down.
They call it chasing points, and you never want to do it, but that's the day of the NFL. And I don't really think this game's going to be close. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's going to be within 10. I just don't know who's going to win yet.
Good point. You got a question?
Oh, man. So here it is, man. The biggest game, I believe, is going to be the Chargers-Patriots. Who you got?
Well, of course I got the Patriots. And now they're calling for snow in Foxborough. I'll take that all day. You got a banged-up Melvin Gordon. You got a team that's not really used to doing this. That snow, please let it snow. Because here's the thing. The Patriots and Bill Belichick, you can call them cheaters, and I'm sure they've done some things that did cross the line. But they love to do things that walk up to the line. Bill Belichick has been notorious on cold days to put multiple temperature thermostats all over the place. So when you walk out that locker room, you're like, crap, it's 14 degrees. Bill Belichick, tell me, Bill Belichick, if a big snow comes before kickoff, Bill Belichick is not doing anything to that field. He's going to let a foot of snow, and good luck Joey Bosa running in snow. Good luck Melvin Ingram running in snow. And
Derwin James, who's from Florida.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I said this the other day with the win. If you, just like I said about the Colts, and me and Billy talked about this, if you think you can give Tom Brady the same opportunity you gave Lamar Jackson, where he gets the ball on his 30-yard line with 1:20 left, and you think you're going to win that game, you might as well not even go to Foxborough. You got to go there to win. You can't get up 14 points and then start playing prevent defense, because Tom Brady will win. So, A, as a fan, B, Chargers, if you want to win it, pedal to the metal, almost like Philadelphia did last year after seeing the Falcons choke it away. You never let up on Tom Brady.
Yeah, don't let up.
Please don't. If you let up, you can find yourself definitely on the losing end of things really quick.
Let me ask,
and be going home.
I think they lost. Oh, go ahead.
No, what was you going to say? I was going to ask you two guys a question, but finish your thought there.
Oh, I was about to say that that loss in that Super Bowl, the Falcons when they lost to the Patriots, I think that really affected them mentally, because if you look how they came back,
it sucks, man. It sucks.
It affected them, a lot.
It happens. I mean, I tell this in a lot of things in life. Imagine you're building your dream house. It's huge. It's beautiful. It's got 8 bedrooms. It's 2 stories tall. It's just a huge house, and you're almost down to the last brick, the last shingle on the roof, and a tornado comes and wipes it away. You don't want to get back to building. You're not ready to pick up a hammer again. You're just going to be like, I'm going to go rent an apartment, because you did all that work. You were so close. It's your house, and it's gone. I mean, how close the Falcons were so close, guys, and
It was so close.
They were so close. I'm sure. I mean, you saw what the fans were doing. I'm sure you had. I mean, when they show the video of them coming back, of course they show you the clips of the Falcons saying,
and that was after what Georgia did in the national championship game.
Right. So I mean, I just think you're sitting there, and the Falcons are like, let's size up our rings. What size you getting? What you think they're going to look like, man? You think how many diamonds you think they're going to have? And then because you do this, you make this is truly how comebacks happen, because you start making excuses. Oh, he's down 25 points. Oh, he's down 2 touchdowns. But not only does he need 2 touchdowns, he's got to get 2 2-point conversions. Well, guess what? He did all that. And now, and then
I was sick, man. I was sick that game. I was sick, man.
The point of that, I'm glad y'all brought up the Super Bowl. Let me ask you a question. Tom Brady's legacy is defined. I mean, he's 5 Super Bowl winner. He's all these awards. He's got more Super Bowls than every team minus 3. Do you, for his legacy that is pretty much already set, would it, if he could never win another Super Bowl, say Tom Brady's never going to win another one, is it just better for his career that he never even makes another one?
I think so. Just because of how we quantify what a winner is. You know, because when we think of winners, we think, oh, Joe Montana. We think Michael Jordan. You know, we think of, you know, guys that won a lot but rarely ever lost. You think of LeBron James, the first thing people always say is 3-6. Mm-hmm. 3-6. So I think just to not get there, because I said this about LeBron too, it'd be better off if he just not get there than to get there and lose in the eyes of some people. Right. Because if you just don't get there, well, people can just say whatever. Once you get there, people expect you to win, especially a guy like Tom Brady, who's been one of the greatest winners that we've had in this league. Yeah, I don't think his legacy can take another loss. Yeah, because people already hate him.
I mean, let's just say he makes it to 2 more Super Bowls, which is very likely. I mean, he's playing really good at a high level at an old age, but he loses them both. That puts him at 5-5. I mean, he still got 5, but you're like, man, he lost 5. So, yeah, it's one of those things where, Tom, if you get there, please win it. If not, lose.
I think. Yeah, what you think as fans though, we take away from, you know, going to a game like the Super Bowl or going to like a game like the NBA Finals. We just take away from it like it's nothing. Making it there is the
tough.
the greatest accomplishment. Just making it there. Yeah, because it's a hard season. I'm talking. What is it? 17, 18 games just to make it
60. Yeah. So, well, yeah. Depending on if you get that bye.
Yeah. So you're talking about that many games being played in order to get to, you know, a spot where you're competing to be the best of the best. It's the 2 best teams in the country playing. So
that just shows you how fans are.
We just take away from it. And me personally, I don't believe him going to another Super Bowl and losing it would affect his legacy at all. That just shows how great he is to be able to make it out there to a Super Bowl at 40, 41, 42, you know?
And I think it all needs a term on where do we put the word legacy? Because are we talking about validation of his peers? He's got that. Are we talking about Hall of Fame? He's got that. Are we talking about most paid? He's pretty much got that when you count endorsements and everything. Mm-hmm. So he's already got all that. I think
it could be had he not took pay cuts.
Right. So where does the legacy word come from? And the only place the legacy word left is from fans. And he honestly probably doesn't even care. And I don't blame him. I wouldn't either if I'm him. So, I mean, I don't know. I think as a fan, as having to defend him, I would almost rather him not even get there. But then again, you're to the point where haters are going to hate no matter what.
Exactly.
I had to defend when they beat the Bears. They beat the Bears, and Trubisky outthrew Tom Brady, which happens, and especially if you're losing. And everyone says this is your GOAT. He got outthrew by the worst quarterback in the league. So why are we going to such dramatics? Why is Tom Brady no longer the greatest? Because he got beat by the worst, which, let's be real, Trubisky is not the worst. So I guess to this point, as a fan, I just need to enjoy it and hope we get to as many Super Bowls as possible, win, lose, or draw.
As professional athletes, though, I don't believe, you know, they should let the fans, like, do that to them, you know, as their legacy. Because they know what they have done. They know their body of work. Don't be like Kevin Durant and make, fake Twitter accounts just to go attack fans and stuff like that. I think Kevin Durant might be the only pro athlete that really cares about his so-called legacy.
Now, Billy, Billy, tell this man, don't get us going. We'll have a 5-hour show because in today's time period, it's hard to not care. Now, Kevin Durant handled it probably the most immature of everyone, but think about the things you can't do without hearing some freckled-faced, pimple-covered kid call you disgusting while this man can't even dribble a basketball. It's so hard not to that I just think it becomes a part of their life. And, yeah, you and Billy both have said it. How does it let them affect it? I just don't see how you don't. I mean, you shouldn't. But we're all humans at the end of the day, and we hear things. I mean, ESPN, it doesn't matter what day of the year it is, ESPN is going to find a way to talk about LeBron, good or bad.
It's very true.
And,
and that's to your point about the fandom. The fandom. As fans, I just want LeBron not to even make it to another finals. That way, people can just shut up. Because do you know how hard it is to make it? It doesn't matter whether you were in kindergarten, middle school, to make it to 8 straight NBA finals, that's not a small feat. And people make it seem like, that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to do that. And when he make it to a finals, it's like, oh, he lost again, as if like it's not hard to even make it to a final. So I'm like you on the Tom Brady thing. Just not even make it to another one. That way I don't have to defend, stupidity. I just hate it. It's one of the things that drives me insane, honestly.
And I just hate how when we set a goal for you as fans and you meet that goal, that if you don't meet another goal we set, you're a failure. I go back to that 2010 team. Now, Billy, you've been very passionate, and LeBron did disappear versus the Mavericks. But nobody, when that team came together, that was the first quote-unquote team that got tagged super team, really got the tag. Everybody said, guys, it's going to take some time to gel, which it does. And they said they're not getting past this Boston team. That Boston team's really good. They're not going to beat those this year. So everybody was okay with that. And then they beat Boston. They surpassed our expectations. And we're not happy enough. Or for the most part, I'm speaking for the masses. We're not happy. Oh, well, you beat Boston, the thing we said you couldn't do, but you didn't win the title. Like, I think we all, and LeBron can never make another final, to your point, Billy, and people's going to start, well, Jordan in his last year didn't lose in the conference final, or this person didn't do that in the conference final. Then they're going to start bashing him about his inability to get to the finals. So,
yep, it's the world we live in.
I love being a sports fan, but at times I hate being a sports fan.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
So it gets me beyond heated. And it's crazy. We sit here, and in the NBA, it's okay, because it happens. Bill Russell, 11 championships. LeBron made 8 finals, and we kind of forget that. Hey, Tom Brady was a Joe Flacco drive and 2 Peyton Manning drives away from being to 8 straight Super Bowls. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's been close. So we got last question here for Matthew, and we're going to go on the same lines. Eagles and Saints, and this is the second biggest line that we have out of all the games, which the Chargers and the Patriots was the shortest at. The Patriots are a 4-point favorite, but the Eagles and the Saints is an 8-point favorite. The Eagles, I mean, what do you do? Is it do what you do, or is it?
So when I was younger, being from the country, there was a comedian, and basically he would ask a question that was clean question, but it was basically saying, how big are you boys? And his answer, he would say, how big of a boy are you? So that's my question to Nick Foles. You know the nickname he's got. I don't have to say it. How big of a boy are you, Nick Foles? Because that's what it's going to take for Nick Foles to win, or for this team to win. And look, that team's good, and Nick Foles just he benefits from it. They benefit from each other. But when you go into New Orleans, how big of a boy are you, Nick? Because you're going to need it. You're going to need – because they're going to score at will. That's just what New Orleans does in New Orleans. So Philadelphia just got that one question. Nick Foles, how big of a boy are you?
And since we're talking about the Eagles, I just want to say this. Carson Wentz.
Oh my God.
Carson
Okay.
Wentz has the easiest job of a starting quarterback in the NFL. Period. The easiest job. He has the easiest job. If you look at what he has to do nothing really, and he gets a Super Bowl ring for nothing
Because
Nick Foles.
Don't get Matthew started on Carson Wentz either.
I'm sick of Carson Wentz.
We've had this Carson Wentz, Jared Goff discussion before, and what do you? You know what, Matthew? I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you go.
So on that, and things have changed since we had that Carson Wentz, Nick Foles discussion, or Nick Carson, Jared Goff.
The Jared Goff,
My opinion on Jared Goff still stands, but Carson Wentz. I heard Tony Romo say the silliest saying against the Ravens. He says it catches up with you when it catches up with you. And I just laughed. I thought that was the silliest statement, but it's so true. Your buddy there said Carson Wentz has the easiest starting quarterback job. He does until he doesn't. And in the NFL,
right.
the NFL isn't forgiving. And I know he's a quarterback, so he'll probably always find somewhere to play. But he has that job until he no longer has that job. And that's a slippery slope. You find yourself being traded to the Raiders next year. Then you get hurt again. Then you find yourself back up at 49.
He cannot go to the Raiders because remember, we already got a conspiracy theory that John Gruden is tanking to get Trevor Lawrence.
He is. So, okay. So 49ers. I don't know. Maybe Garoppolo can't come back. 49ers give up some picks to get Wentz. Which actually that'd be pretty legit squad with the way Wentz likes to throw to tight ends and Kittle there. But
for sure,
I'm just saying, look, by no means am I saying Wentz's career is over, but by no means I'm done with the saying I think he's going to be really good. I was in on Wentz because Wentz was a winner, and yes, he did play at North Dakota State, but also, I mean, that playing at North Dakota State and playing at Alabama or USC back in the 2000s is two different things for a quarterback.
It is.
I thought
really
he had the makeup, and maybe he did, and maybe he still does. But right now, I have to put an incomplete. Carson Wentz just hasn't showed up to class enough for me to give him an A or an F. So, yes, could still be his team. I don't know what Doug Peterson's thinking. I don't know what Nick Foles is wanting. I mean, if the man wins a second Super Bowl, you got to give him something.
You got to give him something. So, that's what I'm saying.
You know what? I think if he wins his Super Bowl, I think he's getting shipped out of town. There's no way Jeffrey Lurie is gonna let Carson Wentz go over Nick Foles, even if he did win him a Super Bowl. But I think what happened
Carson
is
Wentz is willing to be a backup.
No, I think what they'll do is they'll do the Cleveland Cavalier thing with D Wade is pick your destination and we'll try to get you there. But no way do I believe that they're gonna bench Wentz for Nick Foles, starting throughout. I just don't.
I agree.
Not saying it won't happen. That'll be tough.
It's funny because I think we give these quarterbacks predetermined destiny. We give them what's going to happen before they even get a chance. So if you're the likes of Carson Wentz, you're going to get 1,000 chances because you went number 2. Your destiny is that you're going to be a legit quarterback. Nick Foles doesn't get that same benefit of the doubt. And I think it's funny, he did really great with the Eagles team when he put up 7 touchdowns in one game. I think he had
he's 10-2 as a starter.
Right. I think
for the Eagles.
For Chip Kelly, I think he had a season where he put up 21 touchdowns and 2 interceptions before getting hurt. And really, the only bad thing he did was season pretty rusty. But the NFL's changing, man. We saw the Rams start 6-0. We saw the Chiefs start 8-0, 7-0. We saw the Colts start 1-5.
Yeah.
And look, they all are darn near the same record. So I think they don't give Nick Foles the opportunity because your predetermined destiny doesn't say you should get a full 16-game schedule. But I'll be honest with you, if the Eagles rode with him for an entire season, I don't know how bad that gets. Now, obviously, like I said, you to Billy's point, you invested everything into Wentz, so you kind of got to ride with that. But what if how much worse could their season have been if they would have stuck with Nick Foles off 16?
This is true. If
Exactly.
anything, I think they would have won
I
more
think it would have been better.
Yeah, I think they would have won more games with Nick.
The one game he lost was to Fitzpatrick, and that's when Fitzpatrick was Fitzmagic.
Oh yeah,
so
he had it
you
going.
really can't fault him for that.
So if the Eagles truly appreciate Nick Foles, and I forget which one of y'all said it about the D-Wade comparison, they need to sit down and have a good conversation with Nick Foles, because you don't want to ship him to well, it seems like everybody's got a young quarterback, but it's not going to last. You don't want to ship him to Oakland. You don't want to ship him to the Jets or the Cardinals.
I think if he goes to Jacksonville, I think that'd be perfect.
I think that would be good. I think you don't want to put him in New England, because I don't know. He's the type that he does have a little bit of risk in him, and you got to embrace it. You know what? Probably the most hated thing I may say. What if you put him in New Orleans? What if Drew Brees wins the Super Bowl, rides off into the sunset, and because Nick Foles got plenty of weapons down there. Sean Payton will take him like Doug Peterson. Sean Payton will let him have a long leash. Sean Payton will say, throw the ball 50 times and go 80 yards down the field. We'll let you.
Because Teddy Bridgewater won't be there next season.
And Taysom,
and you're not going to go with Taysom Hill.
And he's such a fun weapon that I think
that's not your every down guy.
And once you name him, with him being the fastest guy on the team, once you name him a starting quarterback, there's just a stereotype that goes with that word, starting quarterback, that he literally can't do anything else ever. The man probably can't even get his own water at this point. So if you want him to be the fun wide receiver, the wildcat quarterback, the kick returner, the guy that probably makes some tackles on special teams, catches a couple of balls, keep him as a backup. He seems fine with it. Sean Payton seems to make it work. Why wouldn't Nick Foles, until I see him just lay a dud with a good coach on a good team? Because when you put him on good teams, he's darn good. And when you put him on bad teams, he's bad. I mean, if we're holding every quarterback accountable what they do under Jeff Fisher, there'd be no starting quarterbacks probably. So
that's definitely true on that.
Look, I don't want to get ahead of myself with Nick Foles, but let's put him on a good team that's not the Eagles. Let's give him an entire 16 games for argument's sake. Let's make sure he doesn't get hurt. Let's see what we get. But
I definitely agree. And that's going to be it for today's show, guy. I appreciate Matthew Lyle of the Big Blue Breakdown. RTL Sports Talk, Cross Sports Network. Hey, bro, you want to take us out of here?
Oh, yeah, as always. Have a great day. Be blessed. Be kind to one another. I'm OG Raw, your co-host, signing off.
Thanks, everybody, for the show. Appreciate it.
Sorry for taking over.
It. Oh, no, it's a good show as always, Matthew. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, yeah, we appreciate you, man.
All right, see y'all next Wednesday.